Splatoon is a third-person shooter made by Nintendo for the Wii U in 2015. The main focus of Splatoon is to cover the battleground in your team's color of ink, which you fire from various weapon types, though mostly guns. Killing other players is possible and beneficial, but it won't help your team's score get any higher. Splatoon is gorgeous. The entire point of Splatoon is to shoot your team's ink all over the battlefield, and while the battlefield may start off looking a bit plain, it will quickly turn into tricksy yogurty goodness. The color of both teams will look different from round to round, but they're both extremely high contrast, which leads to a beautiful battlefield towards the end. There is a decent story mode. The story mode will take you only a few hours to complete, but it teaches you a lot about the basics of Splatoon. Unfortunately, the story itself is kinda plain and forgettable, but that's not a terrible thing for the type of game that Splatoon is. It is a shooter. It has a multiplayer focus. There is a lot of weapon variety. You have everything from machine guns to melee weapons. If you want to sit on your perch point and shoot the enemy with a sniper weapon, you can do that. If you want to tackle the enemy team head-on, you can do that. If you want to defend your territory with nothing more than a machine gun, you can do that. Splatoon will accommodate your desired playstyle very nicely. The music of Splatoon is nice, but it's not overbearing. Every round you'll have different songs in the background. They don't have any lyrics, or at least not any you can understand, but they sound very nice. The controls work decently well. A big problem with first and third person shooters on consoles has always been the controls. Splatoon initially does nothing to improve upon the problem, but you can enable motion controls, which allows you to aim more swiftly and precisely. There are only 2 maps playable at any given time. Unless you want to play Ranked, which has 2 maps of its own, you won't see any more than 2 maps at a time. The map rotation changes 3 times a day, but I still think it would be nice if 3 maps were available at any given time. Seeing stats on gear is a pain. Items like hats, shirts, and shoes will influence the stats on your character. The only problem is that it can be incredibly difficult to compare the stats you see in the store to the stats on the items you're currently using. Matches are only 3 minutes long. Coming off of Team Fortress 2, where matches can sometimes be hours long, the match time in Splatoon is extremely short. There isn't enough time to feel committed to a match, because once you start committing to the fight, it already ended 10 seconds ago. There is very little you can do if your team is bad. Despite the fact that each team is only 4 players big, a single player can't do that much to affect the enemy team. Because killing the enemy isn't how you earn points in Splatoon, you'll either be spending all your time getting killed or killing the enemy. Either way, you won't be earning many points. There is no ability to play online with the Wii U Pro Controller. Splatoon is the first big Nintendo game to be a shooter, and as such, you would think that Nintendo would try to reach out to Call of Duty fans. The only problem is they can't use the traditional controller. They have to use the Wii U gamepad. Each stage is very small. This should, in theory, work well with the 4-player per team limit, but it just feels limiting. Most maps are just straight hallways, meaning there are very few routes you can take to get around and flank the enemy team. You can't be very mobile. You have 2 common modes of transportation. There's simply walking, which is rather slow, and then you have turning into a squid, where you move quickly, but only in your team's color of ink. You can't really move very fast either way. Splatoon is a very enjoyable game, but I feel like it would be a better game for a handheld than a console game. It's very likely that Splatoon will get a sequel, and I hope they'll look at increasing the scale that Splatoon takes place on.